Someday, this guy will learn to take a piss before I'm ready to start the darn live stream. Anyway, what's up, guys? JayzTwoCents here. I started it a little bit early today. I didn't want to give anyone the opportunity to start yelling late at us. And according to this, it's still got 2 minutes. Yep, look at that. It just went live with 1:47 on the countdown. See, that's how we do. That's how we do around here. And he's back. You are the world's fastest pisser. That means you did not wash your hands, sir.
Dude, I can take... Well, no, I didn't wash my hands because I didn't have to touch my penis. So why would I?
Imagine you just like pissing on the seat, pissing on the rim.
No,
floor,
it's all
the
about
wall.
like the gyration of the hips, and then when you get it right, I kind of do this thing where I like stand up on my tiptoes a couple times really fast, and it kind of gives me the shaking action.
So it's all like dripped on your knees now?
A little bit. I don't care. I don't wash
I
my
imagine you actually made like a giant funnel for your toilet seat, and you just like piss in the funnel.
Did you see my awesome bidet video? It's like a pressure washer.
Yeah, I remember I responded to it. It looked like poop until you showed your expanding wood.
Oh, that's right, Mugs. Wait, was that on the video or was that on the picture?
That was on the picture.
Yeah, I did a video. You
Instagram.
turn it on, it shoots across the whole bathroom and hits the door.
I responded to your tweet that was of the video.
Ah, of the video.
Because remember,
okay.
you cross-posted.
Just want to make sure you saw the video because that was like the pressure on that thing is epic.
I did, and I know the layout of your house. If that door was open, it'd nail your kitchen.
It actually banked off the door and went like halfway down the hallway, and I had to soak it up with a towel. Like, it was way worse.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how babies are made. With that, I'm gonna roll the intro.
This is TikTok 122. Jerry almost died, but you can't kill a cockroach. Olympic long jump, sorta.
It's like I imagine. I'll let you tell the story, guys. We're gonna start tonight with a little bit of car talk, I guess. Your air conditioner is really loud, sir.
I am gonna go turn that off right now.
You better get that underboob sweat going.
All right, we got it. Yeah, we're just gonna turn it off. Whoa! Shit! Ow! What are you doing? Hold on. Reset.
Dude, the camera shook. Oh, that is the most epic moment we've ever had in 122 episodes.
Dude, I just like rolled my ankle, fell on the side of a container, and just gibbed myself.
I have to laugh at you. I have to laugh.
See, is there any damage there? Like,
oh yeah, it's pretty red.
Ow.
Oh my god, you sir, you've got a subdermal hepatusion there.
I got a hepatusion in my backsalitis. look at chat. Jack's going up there like, oh my god. All right, well, this is gonna go down history.
I just watched the replay. I just watched the replay. It's never been more obvious that was not faked.
You know what happened? I got my stuck in the Fanatic steering wheel, laying on the floor.
That is just the universe. I love the universe sometimes.
Dude, I love that alignment of my camera on the stream. You like that? How it's like sticking out of the side?
I do. I like how red your face is right now, and I do like how when you hit the ground, like everything on your camera went all like super distorted.
Oh, from this, yeah, no, I hit hard. That was legitimately, I couldn't catch myself in time.
So Jerry almost died part 2.
God, man, that is just clumsy.
I was gonna make a joke that you fell down the stairs, but it would probably been too soon now.
Dude, that would have been like so much Humpty Dumpty jokes right there that we just blew right over.
I laughed pretty hard. I'm sorry. I probably blew out some headphone users on that one.
All right, well, we started off talking about cars with me getting my foot stuck in a steering wheel.
It was meant to be. I have to tweet that right now. Jerry just ate shit on live stream.
I
Start
did.
the DVR.
And my ankle hurts, my toe hurts, and my side hurts.
Oh my god.
I'm going on a bike ride on Sunday. It's okay.
Just ate shit on live stream.
Yep, publicize that to the world. Because we know that this is the new internet.
OMG.
We'll probably get an extra 1,000 viewers just because I ate shit. That's like...
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put the link in here because you guys, even while we're still live, can watch that on DVR and you can rewatch it and rewatch it. Anyway, we're gonna start off today.
Make an animated GIF out of that. Let's just cut the middleman out. Animated GIF that shit. Put on Twitter already.
You know it's already up there. It has to be. What's up, Cuddy? If you just got in here, man, you missed it. Jerry ate shit hard. Show everyone your side again. If you just came in here, Jerry landed on the ground so hard he just gave himself like a huge bruise on his back.
You're right there?
Yeah.
Ow! God, it looks like somebody took my kidneys.
It looks like you just took a sword, like, to your side.
Like, what? So, So there's two things on my floor in here right now because I've been cleaning up the steering wheel and
That-
3 feet away from it, a bucket to fall on.
Zach Bolstad said, "I felt that fall in Wisconsin."
Should I be embarrassed or is that just fun?
No, because it still doesn't beat me hearing, "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit," seeing you do a stoppie on my bike in the middle of the intersection.
I wish we had it. Oh God, that's bad. I just saw that on the replay.
You can't see it yourself?
No, I can't.
Oh yeah, it's
fat.
pretty. No, because fat.
Because of fat.
I thought maybe you'd be looking at the actual camera. Oh, you can't see the camera, or can you?
Can't see the camera. It's eyeball fat.
All right, Jerry.
Do
So,
something about that. All right,
so
let's get back
I already know the story he's about to tell. I'm gonna let him tell it. But go
Okay.
ahead and tell everyone how you entered the Olympic long jump.
Well, I almost did it again right there. No, so the other day I had to call Jay on the phone. I wasn't going to tell everybody, but everybody was like on Twitter blowing it up. So I was like, screw it, I'm just going to say it. Y'all know that I drive a fast car. Used to be fast anyways. Now every car has like 300 and some horsepower. But anyways, my STI that I have, it's fully rally built, rally suspension, aluminum, everything underneath it. I mean, it's a rally car, right? Mm-hmm. So unintentionally, I jumped it. And I'm going to tell you how. So normally I have a place, I'm not going to tell you guys where, obviously, but I have a place where you can see everything that's going on. There's no places for any cars to be or people to hide. There's no driveways where people can pull out in front of you. There's no places where a deer can run out in front of you. It's basically just a big drag strip. Well, actually, we'll just call it the drag strip. It was a drag strip. So anyways, I got my car up to about 120 miles an hour. And which Jay can attest to isn't nearly as fast as that car can go. But, in the limited strip that I had.
It sounds incredibly fast considering it's a square.
That's true. The car is literally like a loaf of bread. So I'm doing 120 miles an hour. And because of the sun, I couldn't see a whoop in the road. Like there's a spot in the road where it was a really quick upturn and then slight downhill. But from my perspective, it looked fairly flat. I could tell the road wasn't perfectly flat, but it was flat enough that I thought to do 120. So I go up over this whoop and I instantaneously feel the car get light and the wheels go woo. and I feel my ass coming up out of the seat. And I was like,
to be fair, the engine goes woom.
Yeah, well, no, but I mean the RPMs jumped. Like the tires lost traction with the pavement because I'm at full boost, a lot of power going to the wheels. The wheels slipped. All four of them slipped traction at 120 miles an hour. I feel the car get light up over the top. I can feel all four tires like off the ground. Trust me, if you've ever been in a car that's been off the ground, you can tell.
You can tell when the suspension bottoms out.
Yeah, and then slam. The car slammed down so hard on the pavement that it bottomed out all four of my struts. And like slammed me up the backside hard. I mean, I felt violated.
You're lucky with your car and the coilovers and stuff. I told you on the phone, right? Yep. Some cars articulate, and the suspension articulates the camber and the toe. Like on my Z, can dramatically change from unsprung to sprung, and that's what makes some people crash because they land. The toe starts to dramatically change under the pressure, and they lose control of the car.
The truth is, being all-wheel drive and the fact that I over-revved it when the tires lost traction, I should have been unstable on that landing.
But the other thing you're lucky about too is the fact that you don't have. See, some cars too, when you take the weight off the suspension, the springs just flop around in there. They're no longer in their perch. Some cars are that way. Yeah,
so
you're just lucky that everything stays together with that car.
Yeah, so the way the coilovers are set up on my cars, the suspension is actually incredibly unloaded to start off with because I have it set up for rally. Had I had the car set up for track, I would have bounced it. It would have bounced like a super ball and I would have been screwed. But the car sucked it up. I thought for sure I blew out the struts. I took it for a drive today and the right rear strut is making a clunking noise. So I think I did grenade one of the four struts.
If that's all you did, you're lucky.
I don't know. You think Tane will honor that warranty? Be like, dude, I only jumped it like a foot. Come on.
Go with a real brand.
No, I need to. This was just like my entry level coilovers that I got. They were like $2,400 because the old ones, they're not the cheap Tanes. They're the upper end ones.
Yeah, no, they've got a pretty wide range of stuff.
But you're right. They're not like for proper rally racing. A proper set of coilovers for rally racing is going to be at least $5,000, like at least for the cheap ones. Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, the car stayed perfectly in its lane. Slammed down, did not bounce, just bottomed out the suspension and then slowly rebounded. And I stayed in the lane, didn't lose anything. And I was seriously like shaking like a leaf. I slowed down to like 30 miles an hour. There's nobody behind me or in front of me. Or there's nobody around, like nobody around. And when I got home, I was still just shaking like a leaf for like an hour. Yeah. Like I was not, because it was so unexpected, right? Had you been like, oh, the car's going to get light here or something like that, it would have been no big deal. But it completely caught me off guard, and I'm glad it did, because had I seen it, I probably would have grenaded the brakes.
Oh yeah,
And
you would have
not ended
you would have
well.
completely unloaded that car. You probably would have gone nose down on that jump if you had
Yeah.
done
So
that.
in a nutshell, it was complete dumb luck. It was 100% absolutely dumb luck that I didn't spin the car out like on that, like absolutely dumb luck.
It's funny because you talk about shaking and stuff. Like you went through the mountains with me, and I didn't push the car as hard as I can,
Mhm.
mostly because I had to pass. I had you in the car. Um, I tend to shake after the fact. Like I'll push that car, and then sometimes when I get to the bottom of the hill, like then
Yep.
my foot's just like vibrating and numb because it's like okay, what we just did is probably really stupid, but fun.
Yeah, and I've done that before too. Like the shake you get, like when you feel like you just pushed yourself a little
when
bit
you're
further.
when you're coming down off the adrenaline.
Yeah, this was like straight up like fear, like, oh my God, how am I still alive? That could have gone bad. Oh, thank. I mean, I was
Coming
like,
down
I
off
was
the
like
drugs.
practically kissing the steering wheel on the car, like, oh my God. So huge shout out to Derek Nelson, the lead mechanic at Dirtfish Rally School, for setting up my coilovers properly. You did an amazing job, Derek. Thank you. I'm alive today. If that had been the factory Subaru struts, like the McPherson struts that were in there,
Yeah.
I'm sure the car would have bounced.
Oh God.
I'm
Yeah.
sure the car would have bounced. So.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my story. So I'm still alive. I'm still here with you. I got a strut that knocks now, but other than that, yeah, we'll do that.
I'm happy that it wasn't like YouTuber reps STI around tree eulogy.
Well, luckily, the place where I did it, it was just two open fields on either
Yeah.
side of the
No,
road.
you're
But
right.
still, if the car had a caught dirt and rolled at 100
Sideways,
I would
dude.
have
Yeah.
died. I would have died.
You would have
No,
turned into a top.
this ain't NASCAR. It's not like I had a Hans device on a car that's like designed to never like flip. My car literally would have just been tearing itself apart.
The irony is, you probably would have been strangled to death by that GT Omega pillow in there. It wraps around your neck. Car's
Dude,
intact.
my
straight
room's
up
already
pillow.
100 degrees since you made me turn off my air conditioner. It seriously feels like it's tropical in here now.
Well, it doesn't help that you just fell and increased your body temp by giving yourself an injury.
That's true. That's
Like
true.
your left cheek is also way redder than your right cheek, so I can tell that's the side of the body you fell
I did hard.
on. I know.
That strip that you saw on the side there where it's all torn up, I fell on the side of you know those 5-gallon containers that you just put stuff in
Yeah,
for like your
yeah,
closet and stuff. I fell on the edge of that with the metal bar sticking out. It just threw it to the floor.
So, guys, this could have turned into Jerry gets impaled on live stream.
Guys almost watched Jerry got give. That would have been funny. You guys are all just like doing tech talk, and the paramedics are coming in and putting me on the gurney and like hauling me out.
Because where that's at, if you got impaled, that would have been right in the kidneys.
It would have been, yeah, no, a total kidney shot. Like, as a matter of fact, it's pretty sore and bruised right there from the initial impact.
You know, I'm gonna tell you the same thing the doctors told me when I got into that car crash. You saw the pictures of being so big.
Being fat saved your life?
Being fat was like being a human airbag.
No, I actually saw a video long time ago of this huge guy. He had to be like 400 or 500 pounds, and he was on PCP. And he came out and the police shot him like 40 times with a 9mm before he finally like keeled over. And when they did the autopsy, they said only like 3 of the rounds hit vital organs.
Yeah, because they didn't make it through the body.
Yeah, the dude was literally just a giant like bulletproof dude.
Especially if you're using like hollow point, because I think a lot of law enforcement uses hollow point too. I could be wrong, but
Now they use the what do they call those? Like wad cutters or something. They have a steel shank in them now to penetrate body armor.
but yeah, it's like it's no joke. That's why fat people too also are more knife resistant, and harder to kidnap. But I digress.
if somebody tries to cut us, it just opens up and a bunch of blood and stuff falls out. And they just get all like queasy and run away. And we're like, oh, it's fine. Just put some duct tape on it and push it together.
It's like boss loot falls out of you. So yeah, my car story is not nearly as dramatic. Obviously,
You didn't almost die.
no.
That's good. That's good.
I just was sad. Because you knew last week I told everyone like, hey, my master cylinder went on my clutch, and because it was a warranty thing, I had to take it to the dealer, right?
Yeah.
And even though I know those guys pretty well, it still was. It's one of those things where they had to fit me in because they're so behind. And one of the reasons why they're behind is because Nissan had a massive airbag recall on like their entire lineup.
They have to kind of take that one seriously.
Yeah. So it was the airbag sensor for the passenger side. But anyway, so it caused a backup in like all the dealers and stuff. So they basically told me we'll fit you in where we can. So I told the race shop there because remember the guys who work on my car work for Fontana Nissan Race Shop, which is inside of the dealership. So it's
Yeah.
not like the dealership techs are working on my car. It's the race shop guys that happen to be a sub business inside the dealer. And so anyway, yeah, I told my rep there. I said, hey, I'm gonna buy lunch for the whole shop. Like, what do you guys want? There's this gourmet pizza place around the corner. And when I say gourmet, I mean gourmet. I mean we're talking $36 to $50 a pizza, depending on the one you get. Now, so I ordered a few of those and calzones and stuff, and brought that all over. What's funny is when I told them, hey, I'm ordering pizza, I'm gonna pick it up and drop it off. I guess word got around because what was supposed to take 2 days took 2 hours, because I dropped off the car at 9 and I showed up at 11. Well, 2.5 hours. Showed up at 11:30. I came in and they're like, hey, eat lunch with us. And I sit down. And then my tech, the GTR master mechanic who works on my car, he tosses the keys to me. He's like, you're done. I'm like, what? It's supposed to take 2 days. He's like, he just shrugged his shoulders. And I'm like, okay. Two things either happened here. Food motivated, or you guys like extremely stretched out that estimate just in case. But whatever. The car's back and I'm happy.
Woohoo! Success, Jay.
Yep. And the day I pick up my car, Coconut Monkey comes over. We're playing around here. And I go, we were working on the test rig, actually, part 1. And I said, let's go get some slushes over from Sonic. You know me and Sonic. I love Sonic.
Dude,
So,
you introduced me to that thing. That was good. Like that's the one that's like half
that
slushy,
cream
half
slush.
ice cream, right?
Yeah, it's like, so they have a bunch of like not NutraSweet ones, but Splenda ones, which have a lot less sugar in it. So I get that, and we drove down to Sonic. As we were leaving Sonic, you know the mall's right across the street?
Yeah.
Leaving, like, right from where that Black Lives Matter rally was when we were there, like that street right there, pulling out of the mall was, I don't know, like, everyone's saying rest in peace. The stream is here, guys. It's not down.
It just hiccuped for a second.
Yeah, you gotta love the hiccups. Anyway, so like a I don't want to call it a Ricer squad, because there were some decent cars in there, but like 15 or so cars pull out of there, all Fast and the Furious, like, right, revving and shit. And I'm waiting to turn onto that street. So I see like a track Miata go by. And I'm like, oh, nice Miata. Actually, it was built up pretty nice. But I see Civics and like RSXs and a bunch of random shit go by that I'm just looking at going, these guys think duct tape is like mod tape, right? Those types of cars.
Yeah.
Then I turn onto my street from there. Like, they're all in the lanes to go straight. And I turn right to go back towards my house. You know what I'm talking about. There happened to be a lone Mazda Speed going up that road. And Coconut Monkey was like, he ain't gonna race. Look at him. He's all stanced out, right? Because he had like -3.5 or -4.
Wait, which car was it? The Mazda Speed 6 or
Mazda Speed 3.
Oh, the 3. Ooh, the front wheel drive. That thing's pretty quick. I've driven one of
The
those.
turbocharged one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's driving up the road, and Nick's like, he ain't gonna race. He's all stanced out. He's all for show. And as I pull past him slowly, you know my car is like ridiculously loud, right?
Yes,
so I'm
it
pulling
is.
past
It's
him
louder
slowly. I pull past him slowly, and then must have an open wastegate, because he like accelerated past me real quickly, and all I heard was turbo in my face, right? I'm like, ooh, this should be fun. Light
Yeah.
turns green, and he goes, or the light turns red. We stop at the light. He rolls down the window, and he goes, is that a Nismo? And I'm like, yeah, but it's not stock. He's like, okay, yeah, my buddy's got a stock one, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, just kind of being, you know, just chatting, right?
Yeah.
Light turns green. He's like, okay. So we just start to pull off slow. He guns it, I gun it. And let's just say by the top of second, it was just like, see you later, dude. He was like 8 cars behind me at the top of second. And by the time we got to the
Mazda Speed 3 though is you cannot put the power down.
once we were rolling, it still had, there was just no contest. So we get to the next light, and he's like, his buddy in his passenger side's like screaming out the window, like, fuck, that Nismo's fast. What do you got done to it? And I was like, didn't take exhaust vent tune. Again, same thing. Just the basic 3. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the car, but I want more power. You know me. You know
You always
me.
want more.
I'm
I
never
thought my car
satisfied.
when I first bought my STI, it used to scare me how fast it is, and now I'm like, oh my god, it's slow.
You're like, how can I go get coffee in this? It's just way too slow. I'd rather.
I know
just
it's
take
so
the
slow. You know, ever since I raced Adam Kevlar Condom and his souped up P85D, I've never seen my car
ruined
the same
your
way.
life. Your life is ruined
Huh?
forever. Your life is ruined
It
forever
is
after riding in that
basically.
car.
It is. I literally like bounced off the rev limiter, dumped it in first, like completely dumped the clutch, smoked the tires, and still by the other side of the intersection, he had me by like the whole width of the intersection. I was like, oh Jesus.
I do have a meeting on Tuesday with Stillen, though, to go for a ride in some of their built cars to see what their kit's capable of. My problem with the Supercharger is, yeah, it has downfalls, but you can get around those. I've never ridden in a supercharged Z. I have no idea what that feels like. Before you drop that kind of money on a supercharger kit, I want to know what I'm getting. You know what I mean?
Z feels like a really solid platform though. Like when I drive in your car, I feel like, and I know the suspension geometry and everything, but just the body itself.
It feels like it just feels like a big chunk of billet. It's just
it feels completely tight. I don't feel any flex. Like back when I turbocharged my Corolla, I used to laugh driving it around because if you went around a corner really hard, you could physically feel the front clip of the car flex.
Yeah.
Like if you put something in the gap, it would probably rip it off, pushing it together.
Right.
It was like just a tin can. No, your car doesn't feel like that. Your car actually feels like it has a subframe.
It does. It has 2 subframes.
Wait, your car has is that why it's so damn heavy?
My car is 3,300 curb.
Because my STI doesn't have a subframe. Well, shit, mine's 36.
It's a unibody, but it has a front and a rear subframe in it.
Oh no, the front and the rear subframe. But you know, like the old cars.
But they're tied. They're tied in the middle with a ladder brace, so it is completely tied in. Yeah.
Oh, well, that explains why that thing's so freaking tight. Then that's crazy. Because my
if you look at
unibody.
If you look at the video where I do my rear end bushings, dude, there's just bars upon cross braces and everything under there, even dampers.
It feels dead. Like if you sit in Jay's car, you immediately notice the thing doesn't feel like it's got any flex to it at all.
Yeah, it's pretty
even
flat.
In the turns. Like it's really flat in the turns. You don't get any squeaking and popping like you do from like not necessarily just the bushings, but just the things holding the bushings.
Right.
You know, you don't get any of that torque noise or anything like that. That car is solid. So I would say that thing could handle like shitloads more power, no problem.
Well, remember, when you rode in the car this time, I had all my spherical bushings in there, all my SPL stuff, all my SPL titanium rods, and the white line
noisy
bushings and stuff. No, because they're spherical. There's no flex to them. They're bearing. There's no rubber on the bushings.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
now, the only noise your car made, and you had to point it out to me because I didn't even notice, was just the clutch chatter.
Oh. Yeah, well, that's because it's a light and flywheel. So
yeah, the light and flywheel. You just get a little bit of chatter from the clutch, but you had to like point it out. Like I didn't.
But that's because when I had my tune, and guys, we'll get back to tech here in just a second. But we like to do car talk, and we started with it this time. Anyway, when I got my Osiris uprev tune, we raised the RPMs at idle to 900 from 600 because at 600 it chattered like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But on 900 it's a lot quieter, so that's why we did that.
Nice.
But anyway, I have a meeting with them on 2. Crashed. It's going back up right now.
I just put in chat OBS crash. Be right back. I'm just waiting for DDoS. Yep, there it is. DDoS. We haven't got DDoS.
I'm not being DDoS. I've got 90K coming in.
Yeah, no, that's what's funny. You notice it's like I think DDoSes are just getting played out or something because I haven't seen a lot of them lately.
People don't know what like a true DDoS is. Anyway, I got 101K coming in, and that's from your video stream. Anyway, as I was saying, you know how like with graphics cards, there's silicon lottery, right? You get a good overclocker and you get a poor overclocker.
Yes.
But engines are the same way. You've got your unicorn engines that just love power. They want to build power. Everything's tight in them. And then you've got your engines that no matter what mod you throw at them, they just make shit for power, right?
Yes.
And it could be the same exact engine, right? The VQ37 or VQ35, or in your case, what is it, the FA motor and the FJ motor. Some of them just respond really well and some don't. My engine is...
FJs blow the bearing, like the crank bearing, like blow the crank bearing just with the stock turbo and no extra tune or anything. And I've seen other ones hold 500 horsepower for like a year.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where my engine, we're pretty convinced, especially my tuner, and then Stillen, when I showed them my dyno sheet, the before and after, and the torque gains too. Because remember, I gained 28 foot-pounds of torque with one tune.
Yeah,
28 foot-pounds. That's insane. So we're pretty convinced I have one of the unicorn engines that just want the power. Because my tuner told me that my engine kept building power above redline, but because of oil pump limitations in the car, we weren't going to push it past the factory redline of 7,500. Because the engine wanted to keep building power. He says he could have tuned it to 8,000. He's pretty sure. Imagine my engine at 8,000. What it would sound like. Anyway,
is that like a systemic problem with that motor, or is that something that you could actually modify or put a pump on?
There are no oil because it's a wet sump pump. There's no upgrades for it. I already asked.
Okay. All right.
So it's just a limitation there. But anyway, so when I showed still in the dyno sheet and stuff, they were like, "Wow, your numbers are you trying to poke me there?" Oh, your camera's like sticking out of the frame. That's funny. Let me fix that.
Yeah, somebody was commenting on that.
There, I fixed it, I think. I don't really care. Yeah, so when I showed still in the dyno sheet, they were really interested. Like, wow, these numbers are freaking respectable for the mods that you have on the car. They're wondering, like, wow, what would happen if we boosted this car? You know what I mean? So I'm going to take the car down to them Tuesday. I'm going to ride in some of their built cars. They're going to check out mine, and we're going to start talking. Because as much as I want to do the turbos, dude, 25 grand was the final estimate on my car. 25 grand to twin turbo
That
it.
doesn't even seem like even in the realm of realistic.
10,000 for the turbo kit. Another 1,500 for the downpipes. Another because to do the flex fuel is another 1,500 for the flex fuel computer and the sensor, and then to be able to hold the additional 675 horsepower it's going to jump up to, I've got to redo my clutch again because my stage 2 only holds 550 torque. So with a 677 wheel horsepower, we'd have to go stage 3 like twin or triple disc. So there's that. Then there's the tune time. There's 5,000 in labor alone to install it. There's all of the fuel delivery system has to be upgraded. So it's not just the 10 grand for the turbo kit, it's all the supporting stuff for the turbo kit.
Jeez.
So it's one of those things where like, fuck. But that same stage 2 turbo kit, because that would also be a step up to stage 2, is rated at over 800 wheel horsepower if the engine's built.
I couldn't even imagine your car with that kind of power, though.
I don't think it'd be very usable.
No, I think it would just the car would just be tail happy all the time. At least the supercharger, you'd be able to like handle it in the corners and stuff. Turbo, I'd be scared to death to drive that thing with 600 turbo horsepower.
It's a slippery slope with modding. So yeah, with anything, but every sports car I've ever had, I've modded a lot. So it's not unfamiliar.
Jay will do it. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. He will.
But like anything else, I researched the hell out of everything before.
And then you know what's going to happen is it's going to blow up at some point. Like, and he'll predict it, and it'll blow up, and then he'll sell it for $1,500 on Craigslist, and then finally get a GTR.
I'm not going to lie when I say that I've been looking at GTRs lately. I'm not going to lie.
Time I see one, I'm like, that car looks like a boat. It looks like a land yacht, but God, do they go like stink.
You know, my car has a lot of equity in it because I put so much money down on my car that I can make money on selling the car right now. And not make money, but I mean, I wouldn't have to like worry about money owed to the bank sort of thing. And it's like 25 grand into the Z, or sell the Z for 25 grand. Take that 25 grand and like the additional 20 grand I would make on the Z. That's 45 grand. Shit. Just save for another 6 months to a year, save another 25 grand, just buy a GTR with cash. Done.
What does a used GTR cost?
They're a bit saturated in my markets. You can get a 2012 or 2013, which is the upgraded models where they had more power, not the 480 that they're like.
Those the ones that have the twin clutch in them too, because I heard the single clutch die like instantly.
Yeah, and they're $30,000 transmission to replace.
Yeah,
but anyway, 65 grand. You can get one for 65 grand.
Jeez.
But the problem is most of them out here have been beat on too. So
I'm pretty sure the GTRs everywhere have been beat on, but that's a car that was designed to be beat on.
I don't know.
I wouldn't feel bad buying a GTR that was hammered because it's like that car is built from the ground up to be hammered. I mean, that car is over-engineered like crazy.
James Fox says 35,000 on a 6-cylinder. Yeah, you can't judge a car by how many cylinders it has these days. Remember, the P1 McLaren is only a tiny V8, a V8 that only has what 0.1 liters bigger than my 6-cylinder, but it's got that electric hybrid drive.
Dude, the 1.6 liter engines that they run in the rallycross cars, the GRC rallycross cars, make over 650 horsepower.
This is so annoying.
That's a first cylinder engine that's smaller than what comes in a Corolla or a Honda Civic making that power.
You can kind of tell who doesn't live in the US when they say things like, "Jay, just get an R33 or just get an R34." The R32 just became legal here, guys.
Yeah, we can't get the 34 yet. The only way
there's a story of a guy here. There's a story of a guy here who bought an R33. He actually put a video up on Facebook of it at the wrecking yard getting crushed by a crane with a scoop bucket, smashing it because it was illegally imported. And it was actually tagged in his state. But he got caught and nabbed for here's what happened. The story says he bought the car. Months after buying it, he got into a fender bender. Okay? It was tagged. It was even insured. How all that happened, I don't know. So somehow the adjuster tipped off the feds saying, hey, this is not a legal car. And so the Fed posed as another claimant or something, a claims adjuster or whatever, to come and look at the car. Well, came, looked at the car, verified what it was. The police or the sheriffs came, they seized the car. And then they crushed it publicly and made a big spectacle out of this car being an illegal import. Then the article was like, how the hell did he even get tags in his state to begin with? It should have never happened. So this guy bought this R33 and then had to watch it get like completely crushed right in front of him. Because that's what they do in this country. If you have a car here that illegal from Canada or Mexico or whatever, like R34 is legal in Canada now, but not here. If you were to buy one in Canada, somehow get it here, and the feds find out, they seize the car and they crush it. There's no like registering it as a show car. You can't even do that.
Well, remember on Top Gear UK, remember the episode where they take that, oh God, what is it? Not a Nissan, Mitsubishi Evo. They take
Yeah.
an Evo out and drive it, and then at the very end they crush it, and they're like, "This is a car that was, it was basically taken from a drug dealer." And they
Yeah.
said in their country, it doesn't matter what the circumstances are, any car that was used in crime gets crushed. Like they don't
Wow.
resell it at auction because they don't want to risk the original person ever being able to reclaim it.
Uh-huh.
So they literally destroy the car. So like Top Gear got a hold of it before they destroyed it, so they go and hammer on it in the dirt. But I was like, wow. Like here in the United States, a lot of like drug seizure stuff like that and everything all get resold at
Right.
auction. But then technically the guy could get out of jail, go track it down and buy it back, right?
Yeah.
So they in Europe or the UK at least, yeah, they just crush them all. And I was like, damn,
Yeah,
there's
here the
got to be a
police
lot of awesome drug dealer cars getting smashed over there.
here the police use a lot of them for like undercover stuff, like actual job related stuff.
That'd be funny. Hey, Officer Stiggins, you're driving the 1500 brake horsepower Evo today.
Officer Stiggins. Yeah,
Stiggins got to warm her up for 10 minutes and then put the other set of plugs in her and then turn on the NOS bottles.
I see a very valid question quite a few times going through is like, why are these cars illegal in the U.S.? It's because they didn't meet safety standards, DOT safety standards.
Yeah, and emission stuff, yeah.
Emissions was secondary to safety standards. The R34 and the R30, actually all of the Skylines, for the sake of making them lighter weight and more of a performance car, they
Yeah.
don't have a lot of the crumple zones and safety ratings here the United States Department of Transportation requires. So that's why they're not legal. But there's a loophole where if the car is older than 25 years, it doesn't have to meet those standards. So that's why the R32s are legal now because they just hit 25 years old.
Yeah, how
So
many cars is it they have to crash test for it to be legal to sell in the United States? It's like some big number.
I don't know, but all I know is that it still would be a ridiculous amount of money to get an R32 legally imported here because it still has to go through inspection. Anyway, let's get off this subject now. Let's go ahead and move into computer stuff. So, as you guys have seen on Twitter, there is a lot of hubbub going on out there in London from an Nvidia event going on. A lot of people surprised I'm not there. I was invited to go like 2 months ago, guys, but it was the same week my daughter started second grade, and I don't want to be out of the country for her going to a new school. 'Cause remember we moved, so it's a new school and stuff. So I want to be here for her. Being here for that was way more important than anything Nvidia's launching. I also know that if it's a graphics card or something, I will still get to do a review of it. I just won't be in London, so that's why I'm not there. But there's a lot of speculation that's going to be a 1080 Ti, and I don't see that being entirely unfeasible. I guess with the price tag of the rumor is $899. You don't like talking about rumors, but there's a lot of it going
My
on.
money's on Titan ZP, dude. Titan ZP.
Titan ZP.
Yeah.
It's two Titan XPs.
Yeah, two Titan XPs
Titan
on
ZXP. There you go.
That would be pretty awesome.
So if you bought a Titan X, and then they launched the Titan or the 1080 Ti immediately after it for $400 less or $300 less, would you, with it being within 10% of performance like the 980 Ti and Titan X original was, would you be mad?
Yeah, well, for $300, yeah, that's a significant
If
amount.
you
Well,
bought two of them,
that-
$600.
If I bought them though, see, my loopholes, Puget got me too.
I understand that, but I still do all of my reviews from the perspective of if I bought this.
No, for $300 per like if I was doing even a single one, but a dual setup for $300 per card for a 10% gain, I'd be pissed. I would rather just have the 1080 Ti.
See, that's a really likely scenario because that's exactly what happened with all of the original, from Titan till now. That's what's always happened. Titan was a marginal improvement over the 780, and then the Titan Black Edition and all that, right? And then you had 780 Ti. Titan X 980 Ti came out right after that. It was only 256 CUDA cores less, and it performed.
It's kind of weird though that they release like they release like the performance card, then the ultra performance card, and then they start filling in the gaps in the middle.
They've always done that.
Aggressive system.
They've always done that. They always fill in like the bottom tier stuff months and months after the top tier stuff. So weird. I don't know. This kind of sucks because I'm in the middle of upgrading my system. My cables are going to be here like tomorrow, and I've got my 980 Ti, my 1080s, right? I've got them right here. I just haven't even put the blocks on it yet. I've got the block on one. I still want to put 3 of those in my system. Yes, I know I can't 3-way SLI them, but the only thing I ever used 3-way for anyway was benchmarking. That's what I like to do is benchmark. Then the Titan X launched, and it's like, well, I could get a second one of those and do just 2. And now it's like, well, if the 980 Ti launch or the 1080 Ti launches, do I just want to get 2 of those? This is the first time I find myself just not feeling like I need whatever's the top tier. I know the video I played, like I need it, but that was satirical. But I don't know. I feel like they just kind of launched and threw so many cards at us so fast that like that hype train done left the station. Do you think I'm alone in that?
Well, me personally, looking at you, I'm surprised that you would say that because being, the types of builds and stuff that you do, I think to you it actually is worth the extra money for the little bit of performance just to have the top tier over the top factor. But
I'm
unless
talking
you go to
about even getting. I'm talking about. I would still be. I'm still leaning towards putting the 3 1080s in and not even 2 1080 Ti's if those launch.
Come on, Titans, Jay, Titans.
You know, what
It
about
just it just sounds cool. It sounds cool. Nobody wants to be like, I got a 1080. It's like saying you have a Mustang. Is it a GT? Is it a 500? What is it? I drive a Mustang.
It doesn't matter. It's going to kill a crowd regardless.
It's a Titan, Jay.
It's going to kill a crowd regardless. Okay, we don't want to use Mustang analogies around
It's
here.
true. Actually, let's not use Mustang analogies. That we're not talking about AMD here. Just kidding. We got the AMD poke in there.
No, you're right. I mean, the only conflict here, the practicality part of it, none of it's necessary. My 3 Titan X's right now is ridiculous. I could take Titan X M's. I could take one out and reduce the heat down to what I want. Part of my problem is I get really hot. These cards will get up to like 57C on water, and that's too hot in my opinion. I want to see high 30s, low 40s. The 1080 and its efficiency and how much faster it is in a regular Titan X is hilarious. It's stupid how much faster it is, being how much smaller core it is, how power efficient it is. But I look at it now like, okay, so if I start putting big cards back in here again, and if I stick to the idea of 3, then I'm still where I am now with the 250 watt TDP on these cards just being so damn hot. But at the same token, you know that this system is a staple for my channel, so it's kind of a centerpiece. And I kind of want it to be top tier. But I kind of don't at the same time. And it doesn't help that my benchmarks are only barely behind Adam's. Granted, he's 2 cards versus my 3. It's like knowing it would be a lot of work for a very minimal jump.
I was still very, very impressed with that. Like, I was impressed that 3 original Titan X were hanging with the 2.
It was beating the 2 by quite a bit until he overclocked him to 19.
Well, until he did the overclocking and everything. But I'm just saying, just comparatively, the fact that you were able to best, at least out of the box settings of it with just the 3 cards, that's pretty good. I mean, especially with SLI scaling brought into the picture, right? Nvidia is notorious for SLI scaling on the 3rd card being shit.
Well,
and the fact that you did that.
But to be fair, SI scaling and synthetics like that have always scaled really well.
This is true because they do optimize the shit out of the benchmarks specifically for that.
Because it's explicit, or I'm sorry, implicit, I believe, is when the developer has to decode for it. So they specifically do the best they can to scale it. Real world scenario, I know if I put 2 or even 3 Titan XPs in there or 1080 Ti's, one of them is just going to be sitting there picking its nose for most of its life.
Yeah, and you don't even do surround. That's the other thing too, is you don't do surround gaming, right? You don't have a 4K panel running like 120 hertz. So
no, I've got the 3440 by 1440 running 100, but that's still a lot of pixels to push.
Right, the Predator, but still not as bad as 4K. Even at the 100 hertz, you're not as bad as 4K.
No,
but still, you're doing. I mean, unless you're doing a surround setup with 3 of those Predators. Are you even going to be able to notice any improvement? Can you think of any scenario, any game, or any setting that you would notice an improvement where you would drop under 100 frames per second on that monitor versus your current setup?
No.
Yeah. So that's the scary thing, is you would literally be just upgrading just to kind of keep your flagship of your channel in like top tier positioning for benchmarking. You wouldn't personally notice any difference.
No, because I would still always be gaming on that one panel.
Right.
Even if I went triple Predators, I don't believe even with his 2 Titan X's, Adam can stay at 100 FPS with that many pixels.
He just released a video recently of Dirt 3.
Okay, you can run Dirt on a potato. Dirt is not demanding whatsoever.
Hey! I used to have trouble.
It's true. Dirt is not demanding. You got to show me a AAA. You got to show me a newer AAA title. Even Dirt Rally, I don't care. Show me a newer AAA title, like something like a shooter where there's lots of turns, quick reactions.
Crisis. It's got to be Crisis 1.
Oh God.
Crisis 1 is the benchmark.
You can't even get 2. You can't even get 100 FPS in Crisis 1 on 4K. With 2 Titan X's.
Yeah, you're like 2 Titan X's, you're still running at like 1024 by 768. Woo, letterbox!
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, I don't know, Jay. I'd say I think for the sake of your channel, you should always be running the bleeding edge stuff in there. But at the same time, I think the more practical approach for anybody that's actually buying the cards for their
1070.
own purpose. That,
1070s.
honestly, that's like what you right. And
The 10, remember,
unless you're doing 4K gaming on more than one panel, do you really need more? And if you're doing 4K gaming, you're only doing 60 hertz. You're not there. There are no 120 hertz true
yeah.
120
I
hertz 4K
still
panels.
I still have zero excitement over 4K 60. Like the TV out in the living room, the my Vizio, it does the same mode yours does. So it's a very smooth, very realistic 60 FPS at 4K. I run it at 1080. I don't like 4K. It's still too much input lag in my perceived input lag.
And just to be clear, a single 1070 should be able to handle everything maxed out, unless you're severely bottlenecking it somewhere else in the system. But it should be able to handle everything maxed out at 1080p, like no sweat.
Oh, even 1440.
So
Remember,
realistically, yeah.
Remember, a 1070 is plus or minus 2 or 3 FPS on a 980 Ti at stock speeds. You overclock it, it beats a 980 Ti a lot. So that's still a really good card. And the cool thing about that is the 1070 launched. Its realistic price right now is about $450, right? I mean, that's a little bit inflated, obviously, what they were supposed to launch at. But $450, that's still $200 less than a 980 Ti launched, and it still performs better. And it's way more power efficient. All right, I'm going to start some of the donation comments here, guys. If you guys want to know how to get these comments read, open up the description box. Same thing that you can donate to Jerry by looking at the link down in there.
Yep, Jay gets donations and I get donations separately through two different ways. Thank you, YouTube. But anyways, I'm getting your guys' emails that are coming in as the donations, so I'll read your questions shortly.
But just to clear it up, guys, I don't know what I'm going to be going with until I go with it, to be honest. This is the first time I have to decide between three options, because at least I went from my 980s to my Titan X's. I didn't have to worry about three cards in that lineup at the same time.
I have a recommendation. One last little recommendation.
Oh boy.
I think you should contact your Nvidia representative and say, you know that scrub Barnacles that like doesn't even do video card reviews and fucking gets in the shower and makes fun of AMD? He got 2 Titans. Could you guys throw me a couple more Titans? Come on.
He's gonna be like, yeah, but they bought them, and so we got the money.
You don't tell him that part.
The moment I say Puget, they're gonna know they were purchased.
They probably will. Actually, I didn't get confirmation on that if they were purchased or not. I'll get some clarification on that for the video whether they were provided, because I know my 980 guys were provided by Nvidia.
But 980 didn't have the supply demand that the Titans do. Rumor has it they're thousands back ordered right now. I would be shocked if they just sent a couple of them to Puget. They didn't send anybody more than one except for PC Mag.
Jeez.
So it's like it's very very
but that
limited
raises
right
the
now.
question: how the hell did they get 2 of them so fast if they're all back ordered?
Well, it depends on when you ordered it.
No, they literally like ordered them and like less than a week later they had them in their possession.
Well, if you
Or
look at
whatever
the stock,
avenue, they sent
if
the
you look at
mail
the
or-
stock on Nvidia, it's constantly going in and out of stock. But here's the thing. One last thing we forgot to mention with the 980 or the 1080. I keep calling it 980 Ti. 1080 Ti. It runs the same damn core, Pascal 102. How if they're having trouble with some of the supply on a Titan X, how are they going to supply a whole nother mainstream card like a 980 Ti or 1080 Ti? Fuck, 1080 Ti. If they're having stock issues already. Hey guys, we can't keep the 1080s in stock, and we haven't been able to get any of the custom 1060s out there very much, and Titan X, that's really expensive, but it's still selling out. Let's launch another card, shall we? One that probably is not going to be in stock anywhere either.
And that's true because all the architectures, though the architecture is the same, the dies are actually different because some have more transistors than others, right? So it's not like the silicon lottery for Intel processors where they're like, this one runs faster, sell it more.
There's 3 dies here. There is the GP102, which is the Titan XP. There's the GP104, which is the 1080, 1070, and the GP106, which is the 1060.
So they're physically different.
Yes.
Whereas, like, a lot of people don't realize, like, when you go buy an Intel CPU and you buy the slow one, you're actually buying the same chip as the fast one. It's literally made through the same process, same die, everything within reason, within that series. You're buying the exact same chip. It just didn't benchmark as well.
Yeah,
They literally take these chips and test them, and the ones that go fast sell for more money, and the ones that go slow that are the defective. So if you're buying a slow chip from Intel, you're literally buying a defective chip. I mean, within reason, right? You're buying a chip that didn't meet their thermal targets for the speed, for the voltage, and everything like that. Which I always thought was really funny. I always thought that was a hilarious thing to think about. When you buy a top tier chip, you're basically buying the one chip out of the 200 or 300 that were made that like flawlessly passed their tests.
Yeah, I wish I was the kind of guy that would just be shallow and sell all my cards, because I'm sitting on a gold mine worth of 1080s right now.
And they're going to be worth nothing at like 6 months.
It's like all the 980 Ti's now that I have, right? I didn't hang on to them because they had value. I hung on to them because of things like this test bench back here. It's got two 980 Ti's sitting on it. I've got builds like I did for Coconut Monkey. I've got the EVGA DG87 case build coming. I have stuff to put in there that's worth talking about. It's not like, hey guys, check it out. I'm doing a GG87 build with my GTX 580 in there.
You know what would be a cool video? I mean, I don't know if you'd be interested in doing it, but machine learning is like a hot thing right now. You should plug as many of those GPUs as you can get into one freaking board, boot a Linux distro, and run some machine learning shit on it.
Talking about deep learning?
Yeah. Or no. Well, machine learning, deep learning. Actually,
that's what your Titans are built for.
Hold on. I think they might be just different terms for the same thing. Let me see here. Deep learning. I'm learning as we go here.
Okay, so I'm reading the donation comments here. Mason 1 says, don't be surprised if the U.S. Geological Survey turns up at your door, Jerry.
You're a dick. You get the donation for that. That's what's sad about that. Force shame. You're banned. What's his name? I'm going to ban him off all my channels.
Don't ban Mason 1. He donates like every week.
I would never ban a donator, even if they called me a fat turd. I wouldn't.
Scott, 1992982923995 donates and says, for Barnacles, to buy a big Band-Aid from the land down under, Sydney. That's a $10 Band-Aid, sir.
Damn.
Eric Steele says, Jerry, guess what? I finally got my 1080 for the wins, and tomorrow Nvidia's announcing the 1080 Ti's.
Yeah, I know. And then the day after that will be the 1080 Ti too.
The 1080 Ti sucker. All right.
Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. Machine learning is the broader term. Deep learning is the focus term underneath it for some kind of feature extraction stuff.
This brings up a good point, right? Last week we talked about the Apple effect, where you can not like the company, but you can like the product.
Correct.
Right? I can not like the way Nvidia is going about these launches, but I can still want the card.
And you're not the only one. Like I see a lot of toxic stuff towards Nvidia for the Founders Edition stuff, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's still kind of we understand it like from a business perspective, but still it's like not allowing the OEMs to produce a card right alongside you.
Right.
Immediately is like a shit move. That's a dick move.
Yeah, usually we would see like a reference card for the first couple of weeks of a launch, and then you'd see all the custom cards later, and then the reference card for the older cards would just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says something's to be said with the fact that there are more Founders cards in the wild then. But this is the first time NVIDIA's hanging on to a certain number of dies for themselves, too.
This is true.
Okay, so it's funny how many comments I get, too. Like, I just want to preface this by saying I have a GTX 980 Ti, but NVIDIA fucking sucks. It's like
one of those comments on Twitter the other day. The guy's like, I just got my 10. He's like, I just got my 1080. Awesome card, shitty move from the company or something. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, he didn't specify specifically what it was.
Yeah. If it makes you guys feel any better, though, I think I said this already on live stream before, that when we had the press go-to meeting with like 30 of the press people in the meeting getting the press deck info sent to us, everyone pretty much was unanimous. Like, you guys are moving way too fast. Why are you launching so many cards at once? Anyway, Astro Bob says, hey, Jay, love the content. Tell Jerry hi, too. He says, hi, Jerry.
Hello.
And thanks for reading my comment about the war balloons on the live stream of BF1s a few weeks ago. Made my day. Oh, yeah, because he was the guy when I was flying around in my live stream. Like, what were these big-ass balloons used for in World War I and World War II? It was kind of neat. They said that they basically were like obstruction. The big-ass balloons, and they had cables on them, so they were designed to control where the planes could fly. 'Cause remember, the planes back then were made out of like paper and wood, right?
Oh, you're talking about those like little Zeppelins that got the cables coming down to the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, those were like the giant minefield in the sky, basically?
Well, they were designed to rip holes and tear off wings of planes trying to fly through them, so they could control where the planes could come. That way, they're not throwing bombs over the side of the planes. Remember, in World War I, they like literally hand threw the bomb down to the ground. Yeah, so you could control where the planes could fly. So they would send the cables up real high in the air, and then if you saw those as a plane, you'd be like, whoa, I don't want to go over there. I want to keep my wings on my plane,
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
I didn't know if they were like radio antennas or what, but no, they said it was specifically anti-aircraft. Rev Limit Gaming says, finally get to see a Tech Talk live, and Jerry ate shit. Great show. $5 for using ad block for 2 years.
I think that's a first, too. Have I ever eaten shit on a Tech Talk before?
No, you've not even drunk. I haven't even seen you fall down. Okay, I've seen you fall down sober once, obviously.
Yes.
On a bike.
Yes. Yeah. Over the handlebars. It was very embarrassing.
complicated though. I mean, your shoelace got wrapped up around the crank.
And I'm literally still healing from that. I still have a spot on my shin from that.
Well, now you get a new spot to heal. So, Mike Gomez says, "Love the show, Jay. When overclocking a GPU, would you do both core and memory, or just keep the core? Keep up the great work." Okay, so same thing with the CPU. Overclock the core till it's max, and then start overclocking memory after that. Sometimes you can, if you back off the core clock a little bit, you can get a little extra memory. And I found GPU does actually benefit quite a bit from a memory speed increase. Unlike CPUs, where speeding up the memory only helps certain tasks. That is really loud. That's why I point that out. A GPU does benefit from memory clock increase, so I would definitely push it. All my 1080s, my 1070s, even my Titan X that I have, all of them are plus 500 on the core, so pushing 11,000 effective on the memory. HDman81 says, "Hey guys, late to the party. What are your thoughts on the Windows 10 anniversary update?" Oh God, do we have time for that?
Oh my God.
Did you hear? You know that they reduced the amount of time you have to roll back now with that update?
Yes, and it's very buggy. I've had Explorer crash probably 20 times since installing the update at various different places, and I had some DPI scaling issues.
Just to clarify, guys, I'm sure he's talking about like the actual desktop Explorer, right? Not the Internet Explorer.
Explorer EXE, yes.
Right, which is what the whole fucking foundation runs on.
Yep.
Fun fact, I rolled back all of my 1080 systems back to, or my Windows 10 systems back to Windows 8.1, except for the test bench. That's still on 10 because I need to be able to test DX12.
I
rolled everything back.
Microsoft's doing with 10. It's really pissing me off.
I rolled everything back, and what's funny is I rolled it back the day before the 29th, the 28th, right? And immediately when you roll back, it's like, hey, Windows 10's available. Do you want to upgrade? So it doesn't even remember that you rolled back, right? So don't ask me. Then you know what you get now? Now you get a pop-up every day telling you that your download is expired.
What?
At least I do. On my systems, like on the system down in the shop and the home theater over there that had 1080 or had 10 and now it's on 8.1. Now that little icon where it used to say upgrade to Windows 10 now has an asterisk that won't go away. When you click it, it's like your download has expired. It's no longer available. Please buy it.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't test that scenario at all.
Yeah, so it's just always there now, prompting me to tell me I cannot download Windows 10. So now they're just like rubbing it in your face. Ha, you missed the window. I think there needs to be a whole another show to talk about the Windows 10 anniversary.
I agree.
Okay. Warlord 40,000 says, #help Jerry get a remote for his air conditioner. No, he turned it off because of noise, not because he can't reach it. Jared Zarnicow says, I am so fucking retarded. Yeah, he made me actually read that. So I had to read it.
That's the rule. If you guys donate, we got to read it.
But he didn't use any derogatory terms. He said, I am Sofa King Reed Todd did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we said, we'll read anything you guys put on there unless it gets me flagged. Family says, whatever. Have you either of you ridden on a quad or ATV? Yeah. I need arm surgery because of it.
Wipe his ass with a white rabbit? Come on, of course.
Yeah, I've broken my left arm so many times now. That's why my arm doesn't bend right. That's why
I used to own a Honda Odyssey back in the day. You remember those things?
Yeah. That's why my wrists are not even. So if you guys can see on this arm, you'll see this on the stream later, Jerry. Can you already see how my ulna and my radius are not in alignment? See this right here? So I ended up eating shit off a Razorback in the dunes in Pismo Beach and landed on my wrist. I'd already broken it twice before, so it was a break on a break on a break. Compression fractured it. My wrist is completely out of alignment now. No, guys, it's not a jack-off injury, I swear. That's why now when my arm is straight, my wrist is not. My wrist is always going to the side, like versus this arm. This arm, too, as you can see, my wrist will go to a 90, like most people do. Some people can even go farther than a 90, but it will go back at a 90, and it will go forward at a 90. This wrist here goes back too far. You can see my alignment right there on that. You see how it's all curved, whereas that wrist is very square, like with my palm. But you see how this one has like this funky curve? That's because when I broke my wrist, my hand came all the way back like that, and my fingers practically touched my forearm. That's how badly I broke my wrist.
Is it a fun time performance? Is it like the Ultimate Stranger now?
Just got to stick with the right hand, man. So anyway, the problem is now my wrist also doesn't bend this way enough. If you look right there, my wrist does not go down. I cannot get my wrist to go down any farther than that. So yes, I've ridden an ATV and a quad, and it's now led to me having a really dumb arm.
Hey, fun fact, I used to actually ride a YZ250F and even do the MX track, even as a big guy. I miss those days. I miss them.
Yeah. He's all, we believe you, Jay. We believe you. Because I'm all sitting there flopping my arm around. Do you see the stream though? Like how my wrist doesn't bend?
Yes, it's weird.
Yeah, but it bends too far the wrong way, so it made
Well,
push-ups really.
like I can put my thumb at like almost the perfect.
You look like you got really mad at a stamp. Yeah. Little J is double jointed in her elbows. It freaks me out. Okay. Unfocused says, "Love you guys, Jerry. Can I have one? Can I have one of you 980 Ti so my R9 390 doesn't burn my house?"
Technically, you could. You'll just have to wait for the giveaway, enter, and hope that you win.
Ooh.
I am giving away one of my 980 Ti's after I do my upgrade.
Why only one? You have two.
Well, the other one's going in my computer to replace the 680.
But you never use that computer.
Well, I'm going to once I have something better than a 680 in it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm gonna give away two of them.
Shut up.
And I'm gonna give it away to everyone who.
I'm giving away my car. Okay, I'm giving away my car.
No, the entry. We already discussed the entry last week. The entry into my giveaway is to unsub Jerry and unfollow on Twitter. So you can get multiple entries. Unfollow on Instagram. So there's 3 possible entries right there.
Okay, I'm going to start a giveaway, and one of the Gleam entries is going to be you have to actually false flag one of Jay's videos. Can you do that? Does Gleam have like a button for that?
Oh, man.
Oh, so
Okay.
bad.
Jason Huey says, Jay, longtime viewer, keep up the good work. I got one question. How do I unlock core voltage on my GTX 1070 FE and MSI Afterburner for
I'm turning on my AC.
4790K?
I'm turning it on. I'm dying.
Go ahead. You're going to have to use Precision X. Precision X will let you do voltage right away. MSI Afterburner, I was able to do it with my 1080. And you're not actually unlocking voltage per se. The voltage won't go higher than 1.092 volts no matter what. What you're changing is the voltage slider on where the voltage changes. Because remember, GPU Boost 3, and Jerry, you're going to have to learn this if you plan to do any overclocking with your Titan X's. You no longer have control over the voltage. You have control over the curve. So you can say, at this clock speed, make the voltage this. At this clock speed, make the voltage this. That way, when you're doing lesser tasks, the GPU now, when it sees a load, the voltage just goes like either idle state or max voltage. Idle state, max voltage, which obviously means if you're doing something that brings the GPU up to like base clock, it doesn't need max voltage for like boost clock. So it wastes a lot of energy. So GPU boost allows you to fine tune at every interval of the frequency from base to boost in like increments of like 100 megahertz or something like that, that you can go in there and customize where the voltage is for each individual speed. So
that's actually really cool.
That's why I need to do a video on how GPU Boost 3 actually works, because no longer can you say, give me more voltage. You only get to say where to give it the most voltage.
But that's a level of fine tuning. I mean, you could literally spend days trying to find like the optimal settings.
Yeah, and you could find like, oh, I'm crashing at 1,000 megahertz, but I'm not crashing at 1,800. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that way you're not wasting power and heat in the meantime.
That's cool.
Mason 1 says, I got to get me a pair of those potato TIs to run an SLI. Heck yeah. Potato TI. That's kind of what they become, huh? When the 1070 is faster than the 980 Ti. Jonathan Allison says, upgraded from my AMD. Woo! Gigabyte Z170 Gaming 7, 6600K, and a Gigabyte G1 Gaming 1070. Best move ever. Unfortunately for you, the Z270 is coming out, and the 7600K is coming out, and the Gigabyte G2 Gaming 1075 is coming out next month. So, sorry, man. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, none of that makes sense. Andrew Duncan says, holy shit! I got a job in the UK.
Good for you.
Is that hard to do right now? Is their economy shitty?
I'm just going to guess, like, from the context, yeah, it must be really hard.
Was it working in an Nvidia event for a weekend? I don't know.
Well, it wasn't AMD since they can't afford to get tickets to the UK.
i7 4790K next week, along with Asus Z97 board on a $350 1060 or 1070. I'm only going to be at 1080p. Get a 1070 if it's in the options.
Don't get the 1060. You don't want like the ultimate, like when you go buy a Honda Civic, you don't want like the low level model. You want to at least get like a Type R or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, I can understand the confusion of like, should I get an Asus 1070 or should I get an EVGA 1070? But when you give the option of a lesser card or a higher tier card, get the higher tier card if you can. It's going to last you longer. Remember how a couple weeks ago I said that Nvidia would be really stupid to launch a 3 gigabyte version of the 1060?
Yes.
Confirmed.
Oh my god.
They have a 3 gigabyte 1060 coming out. I don't understand this.
Oh.
They say it's because they want to compete. MSI is the one sending me the card, and they say it's because they want to compete with the lower option AMD offerings, right? Like this 460 right here, which has 2 gigabytes of GDDR5, or the 470, which is the MSI card right here, has how many gigs does this have? I don't even know. Does it even say on the box? Oh, okay, so 4 gigabyte. They say they want to compete with it price-wise, but spec-wise, I still don't think 3 gigabytes is a good move. Actually, it really has 4. They're just putting the right number on the box, says every AMD fanboy everywhere.
They're just hedging their bets. Let's just tell them it has 1 gigabyte, and then if they find more, they won't sue us or file a class action.
Turns out it actually has 3.5 and not 3, so can we start a class action lawsuit over that? They gave us more than we paid for. We owe them money. All right, William Jensen says, "Oh, you pretty chitty bang bang, chitty bang bang, we love you," or pretty chitty bang bang loves you too. Oh God.
Loves us too.
Oh, loves us too. Yeah. Warlord 40,000 again. Hey Jay, did you keep all your old GPUs after the move, and why don't you have the card rack anymore? Because I have a shop now to put everything in. One of the reasons why I had the GPU shelf, as I used to call it, was I had no place to store this stuff, so I just put it up on a shelf to display it. But I have an actual workshop now where everything goes, except for some of the cards I still haven't brought back down there for my Titan X video. Funny story about that Titan X video. I knew everyone was going to call me a fanboy anyway. I knew everyone was going to be like, look at an Nvidia fanboy and all the graphics cards. So I was like, let's just do it this way. Let's just, not only is it going to be funny that everyone's going to call me a fanboy and I'm going to pretend like Nvidia doesn't even know who I am, but let's just load up the desk with graphics cards everywhere, right? You saw that video, Jerry, right? Tons of graphics cards everywhere. There were 34 graphics cards on my desk, both in boxes and out of boxes.
And you said that wasn't all of them, right?
That was only my 970s and up.
Oh my God.
So 970s, I had 2 970s were the lowest cards. Everything else in there were 980 Ti's and up, and 1 980 Kingpin. So everything was 980 Ti or 1070, 1060, the 1080s, Titan X, old Titan X's. So there were 34 graphics cards. Every box had a card in it, and they had loose cards as well. But yeah, that's when I realized I might be a little bit of a GPU whore.
I think you should take them all up, line them up, and just slowly in first gear, like drive over them with Nizzy, and like just a 10-minute video of you slowly crushing, high speed, close up shots, everything.
Crushing like 15.
Just look at the camera and be like, mad, bro.
Crushing like $15,000 worth of graphics cards, even used, they're still worth like 15 grand.
And the sad thing is in the state of YouTube right now, that video would probably get like 20 million views.
It would
and then
pay
you just
it
buy
5 times over.
More and do it again.
I'd buy out what's left of the Titan X's. Elrod says, hey, y'alls, when you gonna have a fan meetup? Anyways, pleasure to watch this show every week, baby dumplings. We were gonna do a fan meetup when Jerry was out here. It's just the night before we were gonna do the fan meetup, the Dallas shooting happened and kind of killed the mood.
It was weird. The bad Dallas shooting happened, and then there was the Black Lives Matter march, like right outside of Sonic. It was just too much shit was going down.
Because remember, we were laying there on the couch, you, me, and Nick, and we were watching Reno 911 when I looked at someone tipped me off. Someone tipped me off on Twitter, like, hey, it's a really shitty week, isn't it? I'm like, what? So I went to MSN, and I'm like, oh, great, here we go. And fun fact, a lot of people may not know this. My mom actually worked for Dallas PD before we moved out to California, and then she worked for a police department out here. So there was a little bit, sort of, not personally for me, but there was, in the family, there was some close-to-home reaction to the Dallas police shootings.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it just killed the mood all around. I think you saw, I got pretty irritated that night after all that. So I just didn't want to go do a fan meetup because I thought it would kill the mood. So then we just went to Sonic the next day, and fucking Black Lives Matter protest happened where we were. Yeah. with police response and helicopters and police cars everywhere, and it was like, and they're in riot gear
and stuff. Yeah, it was freaky.
I was like, geez, we just wanted to kind of lay low and play and just kind of keep it close to home, and then that. I'm like, shit.
Yep. Jay knows how to show a guy a good time.
California life, baby. Solvap says, this may be a stupid, but right after I got my 1080 Titan XP came out, should I return my 1080 or will upgrade make any difference? Is he really asking if the 1080 and the Titan XP perform the same?
Yeah, they actually do, don't they, Jay? I heard that they're exactly the same and they just charge more for the name.
Dude, I did a video on the Titan X. Just go look at my charts. That'll answer your question. The other part of his question is also with my 6700K bottleneck. Oh my God.
I had somebody message me again. I'm not even kidding, on Twitter again. And I'm sorry if you're watching the show. I'm not making fun of you, but just listen to me. He said, money is not an object. 1080 or Titan XP. And I was like, if money isn't an object, that's like me saying, money's not an object. Nissan GTR or 1984 Honda Civic hatchback.
I don't know. Should I get me a Z or one of them Huaras?
Yeah, why, Russ?
Anyway, I'm not going, because you asked the question. I'm doing that because I'm asked that question so much, and I know that you're a victim. And his last sentence, I don't want to say it because it was self-demeaning, but he says, I know it, I'm dumb. He's all, I know I'm dumb. You're not dumb. You're a victim of forums. You're a victim of Reddit. You're a victim of everything everyone says in type that doesn't know what they're talking about. So everyone's like, you didn't get a nice 670, 6700K, that's going to bottleneck your Titan, blah, blah, blah. You're a victim to people that don't know shit, acting like they know something on Reddit and forums. And so the problem is now you're second guessing what you should do because you don't know enough about the subject to make that decision. So you went to the forums and you were lied to. You were lied to.
Sorry for the troll. Solvap just donated another $5. Said sorry for the troll.
He better be trolling me. But the problem is there's a lot. I get these questions all the time. And the problem is I'm telling you right now, when I say this, you guys know as well as I do that people who are concerned about a 6700K is not a low-end CPU. It is the highest mainstream CPU you can buy right now for Z170 platform, which admittedly performs better in games than my 5960K does. But the thing is, because it's not X99 or it's not the top tier CPU period, you're concerned that it's going to bottleneck your top tier GPU, and that's because people say stupid things on the internet. No, you're fine. If you're really asking the question, your Titan X is not going to bottleneck your 6700K. And yes, obviously the 1080 is below the Titan X on performance. I answered that question because I know someone out there somewhere asked me that at some point and I didn't respond.
I heard a 1080 overclock can beat a Titan overclock.
I'll fuck you up.
All right, finish out your comments because I got a shitload of them on my side.
I'm trying to. I have to get out of here right at 6:30 because Little J has class tonight. Matt Gibbs. Matt Gibbs. I have the Asus PG348Q 34 before the.
Is that Predator? Is that like the official name?
No, it's the Asus version of it.
Okay.
It's the ultra wide 100 hertz. Thinking 2 gigabyte G1 1080 is good for a while. Wait for the 1080. God damn it, guys! I cannot tell you whether or not it's worth to wait for the card that we don't know have confirmation. That
Do not wait for imaginary shit. And if you're gonna wait for a 1080 Ti, just save. Just if you got that monitor, I'm guessing you got some money. So just get the Titan XP. Then you don't got to worry about it.
If your question is
before they release the 1080 Ti.
If your question is two 1080s versus one 1080 Ti, then get the two 1080s. It will blow away a single 1080 Ti and it will blow away a single Titan X. But if you're asking two 1080s or two 1080 Ti's, wait a week. Wait 1 week. If they're gonna launch it, they're gonna do it this week. Okay.
There you go. Wait
Nico Bowling says 5. I don't know if that's euro.
Squiggly pounds. We'll just call it squiggly pounds.
5 squiggly E's for the ad block. Question: is it worth upgrading my? Okay, he's got a 2600. That's a legitimate question. That's a Sandy Bridge. That's an old. That's like 2012 stuff right there. Okay, he plays at 1440p, 144 hertz, and thinking about upgrading to Pascal. You might see a few FPS increase by going to something like a 4790K or a 6700K. Okay, the Sandy Bridge is an older architecture. Solvep, sorry for the troll. Got it. Solvep, I may have had too much to drink. Just keep donating and I'll keep reading.
Yeah, Solvep, so just keep them coming. All right, so now on my side here, we have Justin Strum. He said, hey, I happen to find more than 5 cents. Hit me up on Twitter. Up and Smoke Baby is his name on Twitter if you want some more memes. Oh, so he's one of the meme guys. I've been loving the memes lately.
He smokes baby. He rolls them up and smokes them.
I loves the memes. I loves them. And then you got Artem Orgadingnik. Ogorodnik says hello all the way from Linwood, Washington. It's funny with that name. He lives like next door. Had to
all the way from.
I know. Had to donate to Jerry, even though question is for Jay, because I'm at work and can only go about this on my phone. Yes, technicalities. How relevant is my 3770K at 4.8 gigahertz at 1.365 volts? Wow, we're getting like down there. Now a day's custom loop. Been running it for years and THI. Years in this. I must have cut off his comment. I don't know why.
I have an answer for that one.
So how relevant is this 3770K at 4.8 gigahertz, Jay?
Say no to drugs, okay?
Say no to drugs, man.
Say no to drugs. No, 3770K, it's one generation newer than the 2700 that he... See, the last comment asked about 2600. 3770K was the successor to the 2700. It's going to start getting up there in terms of... Because remember, every generational jump from Intel, we saw about 8%, anywhere between 5 to 8%. So you're about 4 or 5 generations behind with the 3770K versus where we are now. So you could potentially see about a 20% increase at max load in CPU benchmarks. In games, I don't think you're going to see that much of an improvement. The reason why I said the 2600K gentleman should upgrade is because there was still a CPU tier above him, the 2700K, which was not as popular as 26 or 2500, which is an i5. Your 3770K, I still think will treat you all right at 4.8 gigahertz. It's still 8 logical threads, and the direct single core performance of those is still pretty good.
What's the stock clock on that? Do you know off the top of your head?
Like 3.5.
So that's a decent overclock. 4.8 stable.
I think it's 3.5. I'd have to check, but it's in the threes. No, Intel never launched a CPU in the fours.
Okay. So JD Hubbard said, great intro. First show I've been able to watch live. $5 for using ad block for 2 years. Great show, guys. Keep it up.
Nice.
We will try. We will do our best.
Nice. Jerry just has to follow the beginning of every show now.
There you go. Conrad Olachowski said, I donated to Jay, took my money, but it didn't show the message. Anyways, love both your vids.
You gotta love how buggy this stupid system is.
It is pretty damn buggy. You guys, the safest bet is just to donate to me because PayPal's like ironclad. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I was kidding. Eric Anderson donated $5 and said nothing. And then he donated another $1 and said, whoops, forgot to type. Okay. So I'm going to be upgrading my rig soon, monitor-wise. I'm actually going with 3 27-inch Predators at 1440p. I've been very hesitant to do it because I fear not being able to push simply 60 frames per second in surround. I want to upgrade too, and I'm sorry, for some reason PayPal is truncating the comments today. So I don't know what he's shooting for graphics card-wise, but to run 3 screens at 1440p,
even two 980 Ti's overclocked would be. Yeah, it'd be like 30 psi on stock internals, folks. Yeah, no, seriously, it's a lot of pixels to push, even for 60 hertz.
If you're going for 3 Predators, I mean, you're needing like
No, he's talking about 27-inch Predators. They're 16 by 9s. It's 1440p.
But 1440p is still a shitload of pixels.
No, you're right. It is.
That's what I'm saying. Is what graphics card would he need to be driving surround at 60 frames per second, like in decent settings in most games? Not dirt. Not potato dirt.
He would probably have to. He would have to probably be around 1080s, in my opinion. I wish I had 3 1440p panels to test that, but I don't.
The other thing too is how good is the scaling on those Predators if you drop them down to 1080? Because unfortunately, it's not perfect scaling like 4K to 1080.
Oh my God! Did Jerry just go up like plus 20 dB to anyone else?
Oops.
You were like, how would it be? It's like, what the hell just happened here? Oh my God, that's so loud.
Oh my God. So anyways, if you're going to get the Predators, you can always drive the desktop resolution and apps at the higher resolution and get all that extra sweet real estate without needing to deal with DPI scaling and still play a game on a single screen at 1440p or 3 screens at 1080, right?
I wanted to answer the question you asked me.
Please do.
Okay, so 1440p monitors don't scale to 1080 nearly like very good because it's not a square pixel at that point.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, but the only DPI scaling that actually works perfectly is 4K to 1080p.
And that's what I love about 4K is literally you drop 1080p, it looks native.
Right.
It's perfectly for 1080p panels. What would be a resolution? So 1440p, if you were to have that.
It's 5760 by 1080 when you go with surround on a 1080. I'm looking up how many pixels it's going to be right now.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Hold on. Times 25. Fuck. It's all ding, 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 ding. Okay. 1440p times 2560 times 3. That is 11,059,200 pixels. That's a lot of pixels.
It's actually not that bad. I think it was 20 when I calculated 3 4K panels. It was 8. I want to say 18 million.
Yeah.
So it's actually up there. That's still a lot of pixels to drive. Lee Warrett said, "G'day, Jay and Jerry." Oh, we know where he's from. Quick question, Jay. Last week on TT, you told me that my half-X case was not designed for water cooling. After watching your older vids on overclocking AMD 8350, I was inspired to overclock my 8320. Just make sure you have fire gear. Always have fire gear and an extinguisher.
You always have an extinguisher nearby. Halon extinguisher.
And make sure you have a Halon system. It needs to be certified within 2 years. Will the Cooler Master Maker Air Maker 8 be sufficient to give me reasonable overclocking? or will it fit in my case? I've recently come into some physical health issues, so I'm having to look for different work. But after watching both you and your respective channels have inspired and lit my passionate fire. Ooh, this is starting to get dirty. In me to go back to school and get my A+ certification. Awesome. A job will, a job I will be able to do. So I must thank you both. From your friend Lee, that's Gene, what is it? Is it Genie, Gene, Gene Master 74 from Brisbane. So there we go. We were right. And the land down under from everything that wants to kill you. Unlike the States where everyone wants to kill you. Like that.
The best
good.
sign off ever.
That needs to be on a t-shirt.
From the land down under, not from the, what was it? Not from the land where everything wants to kill you?
Yeah. From the land where everything wants to kill you, unlike the States where everyone wants to kill you.
Everyone, you got it. Man, that was epic. Okay, so yeah, I reviewed the Master Maker Air. He said he saw the video. It's the successor to the V8, and the V8 was an amazing cooler. It's a vapor chamber. It's got lots of copper heat pipes. It's got a huge fin stack. Yes, you can overclock with that respectably, and you're not going to be hitting no max overclocks that require max voltage, but you are going to be able to push your clocks up to somewhere in the neighborhood of, I would say about 85 to 90% of where you could probably get with a water cooler. But the flip side is it's an air cooler though that costs as much as like an H100 from Corsair. So you've got to ask yourself if you just don't want the risk of a potential leak or pump failure or something with the all-in-one water cooling kit, or you just want to be with the hands-off, maintenance-free, blow the dust out every now and then air cooler. In that price range, though, I would also suggest if it would fit, and yes, the Maker Air will fit in your half X. Anything will fit in the half X. Also consider like the Noctua D14, I think it is. It's an amazing cooler as well. Again, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than your Maker 8.
Master Race.
Air-cooled Master Race?
Air-cooled Master
So
Race.
that means you're a Volkswagen fan. I see. Anyway, I was babbling there. Yes, it's a good cooler. Use it. The only other one I think I would recommend on air that's better would be the Noctua.
Oh, gee. A whole bunch of questions are coming in now. Okay, Mason Milburn.
God, because they see that I'm answering them.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry and Jay, love you both and your channels. Here's $5 for ad block. I have two questions for both of you. Am I the only one experiencing the black screen after login bug in Windows 10 Anniversary? I have not experienced this bug, but I've heard of it. And have you heard that No Man's Sky may not have multiplayer, even though Sean said in an interview you can meet up with friends? Also, why not a midnight release? Thanks for the great content, guy. I don't know a lot about the release of No Man's Sky. It's a game that I've been anticipating and wanted to play for a long time, but if it doesn't have multiplayer, that sucks.
I accidentally punched myself. I think the stream might have seen that.
That was not random at all.
I did. I actually punched myself. I don't know. Remember, like I said, I just rolled everything back. I didn't. I don't have the anniversary Windows.
What do you think of No Man's Sky? Are you gonna play it? And what do you think about it not having multiplayer?
No idea what it is. I've not even seen it.
I've heard it referred to as Minecraft in space, but I know it goes a lot deeper than that.
Oh, we got 16 minutes before I have to sign
off.
Oh,
dude, I got a bunch here. Let me just whip through them here. Justin Wilson said this $10 for you. I donated $10 Jay last week. Sadly was missed. Oh, Jay, you're horrible. Any info on voltage control for Titan XP? Want to squeeze more out of this thing when my EK block arrives. Thank you, and just want to say I enjoy both your videos.
Yeah.
We don't have direct voltage control though, right? So it's pretty much just
you have voltage curve control.
The voltage curve. Just play with the voltage curve. Yeah. Let's see. Zachariah Grooms, $10. Nothing to say. Thank you. And then let's see. Phil.
Cut mine off. Cut mine off right there.
Yep. Phil Whitson said, "Hey Jerry, can you ask Jay a question since YouTube donations don't work for me? I have two 980 Ti's and a 6700K and a Fractal Define S. Would a single top mount 420 radiator be enough for water cooling it, or do you think I should add a 280 radiator in the front?"
So a 420 rad up top.
Yep.
Two 980 Ti's and a 6700.
And a 6700K.
It would be okay. So it's not going to be as cool as it can be, but if you put the proper fans and airflow in that case, because you're going to want to exhaust heat out of that case with those. So you got to make sure you're feeding enough air into the front of that case. That's where you're going to find you're going to be limited on there. It's not so much by the radiator, but by how much air you're letting in. So you're going to want to use some high static pressure fans and probably ramp those up and be a little bit less concerned with noise if you're going to be concerned with temps. Otherwise, adding a fan to the front will help those temps. And ignore anyone that goes, you can't put a radiator in the front of the case, you're just going to heat up everything else. Blah, blah, blah. Ignore all that. Put the radiator in if you have the room and want to do it. I would personally go with the 280 and the 420 than just the 420.
All right. Mitchell Chalker said, just call me Mike, okay? So I don't
What's up,
butcher
Mike?
it. Just giving you some love because Jay got some monies, you got, and you get to keep some.
But Jerry
Drive-
got 2 tight X's. Why does he need donations?
I did get 2 Titan X's. All right. Let's see here. Chris Clemens says, can't get banned because I'm calling Jerry a fat turd. Love you, Jerry. And can't wait for more drone videos. Also, first time watching live because of work schedule, but I'm on vacation. Jay, I'm working on a build now inspired by Skunkworks and Red
Yay.
Mist. Cheers.
So we call it
Cheers.
Skunk Red, or Red Skunk,
Yep.
or
And we got,
Skunk Mist. Skunk
who was
Mist. Skunk Mist.
Skunk Mist.
make
Do
it stink.
That works.
Make it
Skunk Mist.
stink.
Hashtag Skunk Mist.
It's gotta be
Draggy
like a pungent fluid.
Ridevsky said, Jerry, if you have been kidnapped by AMD, please trip overweight. If you've been kidnapped. I think that was like a joke about me tripping earlier. Carrie Gamir said, I donated to Jay and the comment didn't show up. I'm guessing there's a ninja character limit, so I'll keep it short. I'm a veteran 20-year PC builder doing my first water loop, and I'm looking for recommendations for 2 980s and a 5820K. So what are the recommendations, Jay? What does he need?
980s or 980 Ti's? Because
I think they're just 980s.
But I don't think you can even get just 980s anymore. You can't even get just 980 Ti's very easily anymore. What?
Might already have them. Let's assume he has them.
But if he already has them, why does he need a recommendation?
Because he hasn't installed them yet.
Put them in.
I recommend you get some tubes and a
No,
pump.
if he's not used or something, yeah, I guess. See, the 980 is not a slow card by any means these days, but the 1060 is performing just as good as a 980, and the 1060 is way more power efficient and has more memory as well. So 6 gigabytes versus 4. I would quite honestly, I don't know, if you haven't bought them, maybe consider 2 1060s. Or something.
Guys, I have to cut off donations at this point. I have, let's see, 9 or 10 more to read.
And I've got like 6 more.
Yeah, the only way we're going to get through them real quick is if we...
Little Jay's got to go to her Taekwondo ass-kicking class.
She does.
So
Edge Silver donated $20. Thank you, Edge. Is his name really Edge? Edge Silver? Dude, that's badass.
What's your name? Edge.
I'm Edge.
Edge Silver. Dun, dun, dun. And smoke.
Let's see. Conrad again donated. He said, I donated to Jay, took my money, but didn't see. Oh, wait. Did he donate a second time? Why did it send me 3? Oh, he said, well, since your donation button works, I might as well. Jay, I overclocked my GPU, EVGA, GTX 760 SC 4GB. Max overclock is 1306, and memory is 3151. Stock voltage, anything higher, and valley crashes, even when I push the voltage to plus 12. I think he's just telling you about his rad overclock.
He's telling me he's on the edge of his overclock. Your overclock over time will probably diminish too.
Cameron Knight says, Jay stole my money, but I will still donate again because I love it.
YouTube stole your comment.
Yeah, YouTube, actually, their donation system's really bad. I think that's why they don't fix it for me.
I don't know who it's powered by, but it's pretty bad.
It's bad. Let's see here. So let's see again. A GTX 690, 2GB, and a 1060 EVGA superclock get into a fight. Who wins?
What was the question?
A 690 2GB versus a 1060 superclock. Who wins? I mean, obviously the 1060, right? He literally said a GTX 690 versus a 1060. The 1060 is not that shitty of a performer, I'd hope.
The 1060, like I just said, performs pretty much identical to a 680. Or I'm sorry, 980. The question is, how would 2 980s or
No, a GTX 690.
Yeah, I know.
2
but
gigabytes.
I'm just saying that 690 is 2 generations older
Yeah.
with 2 680 cores on it.
So you
got to see, how does a 680 SLI compare to a 980? I think they're pretty close, which means a 690 and a 1060 in terms of raw performance will probably be pretty similar. What's going to hold it back is obviously the 2GB.
But he literally says a GTX 690. He doesn't say SLI. He doesn't say 2 690s.
690 is an SLI card. It's 2 680 cores on one port.
Oh, I forgot about the 90 series. You're right.
I thought you owned it. I thought you owned that card. No, you owned the 590.
No, I have the 590.
Right. So I think they'd be pretty damn similar because remember, a 1060 is a 980, and 2 680s is pretty much a 980. If that makes sense. It's just going to be a whole hell of a lot less heat and 3 times the VRAM on a 1060.
Let's see. Evan Parr said, donated $20, Jerry, but didn't see my donation from user Evan P. YouTube needs to fix this shit. Hey guys, just wanted to know if Jay has tips for some. I love how all these questions are for Jay. That makes my job so easy.
My fault.
Jay has tips for someone that is looking to buy a used 370Z. What to look for? Actually, don't go into this too deep. But what's like the shittiest thing on the 370? You gotta like keep an eye out for.
Clutch slave cylinder. Okay. So the 370Z, I had to replace my master.
Yes.
The 370Z. Are you ready for this, Jerry?
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, Nissan was like, you know what? We don't want to use one of them. And they're Japanese. I don't know why I'm using a southern accent. Okay, they're from southern Japan. You want to use one of them there fandangled fork thingamabobbers to push the pressure plate and disengage the clutch. So why don't we put a valve in there, another cylinder, that when you push the master, it pushes against that. So the pressure builds up and it squeezes, and then that pushes against the pressure plate. Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. Okay, cool. What should we make it out of? Plastic. Okay, let's go with it. So there's literally a plastic valve body inside the transmission bell housing that's responsible for pushing the pressure
Hydraulics
plate.
and plastic do not mix. Hydraulics and plastic do not mix.
Let's just even taking the heat out of the equation. You're talking about pressure. A lot of pressure to push against the pressure plate. So Nissan has a notorious issue with the clutch slave cylinders going bad and leaking. And here's the problem. What happens when the cylinder inside the bell housing goes bad, which is normally just a fork, a mechanical fork with the cylinder on the outside of the bell housing that moves the fork to push the pressure plate against the clutch. Normally, when that goes bad, it pisses at the outside of the fluid, right? Master cylinder leaks, whatever.
Yep.
In the Nissan, when your slave cylinder pisses fluid everywhere, guess what that fluid does? It gets all horny. It gets all horny and impregnates the clutch with fluid, completely destroying the clutch,
And that goes in
the clutch disc. So it means when that goes bad, every time you have to change out your clutch plate and resurface your flywheel. And guess what? Stock flywheels can't be surfaced because they are dual mass, and they've got little doohickeys on there that keep them from being able to grind them down.
Hey, Paladin one just said Jay the PC guy is better than Larry the cable guy. Like that Jay the PC guy.
Well, remember that's because we're down from southern Japan. Now we like our sushi and our cars.
We gotta get through. You calm down.
I'm trying, but anyway, what I would look for is how old the car is, how many miles are on it. Find the dealership history on that car if possible, and see if that CSC has ever been replaced. Even if it has, it is going to fail on you again. If you're going to get the car, upgrade the flywheel clutch and get a Z1 slave cylinder for it. That's the first thing I did with my car.
That's smart. Ian Mellis said, "I'm Mason 1. I'm a stout fellow myself. Have $5 upgraded the Pro Signal monitor stand after watching your vids. That's cool. Somebody actually put another aftermarket monitor stand on, like I did.
Sweet.
Woo!
So
let's see.
Technoscope says
Go for it.
basically, Jay, quotations, pregnancy equals destroyed. I did say that, didn't I?
You did. You did.
Okay, go.
Let's see. Chris Brady said, "Hey, keep up the good work. Love watching your videos. You guys allowed me to build my first computer and then help my friends. Hope you do a custom water loop and eventually get a 3D print." Or he hopes to do a custom water loop and get a 3D printer. Do you still recommend the Ultimaker? Yes, the Ultimaker is still my favorite 3D printer that I've used to date, as far as like something you can attain at home.
I said something wrong that I have to clarify, and they're absolutely right.
Do it. Cleared up.
Okay, so I have two comments before that one. Warlord 40,000 again. I feel like you don't have to pay me to have a conversation. Just put it all in one comment. Intel seems to be making a big push on more cores. Do you think game makers will follow suit and push making use of the extra cores? It just seems like a waste.
No, absolutely.
It's just... Yeah, we won't get too far into that, but they have to find a point to where they can't gimp the people with lower cores either. So there's some coding optimization.
One other quick thing just to touch on there is realize that the game manufacturer themselves don't necessarily have to take on the multi-core. Just the engines that they're using in many games utilize the same engines and libraries. Right. So as long as
like Unreal Tournament.
Yeah, as long as people that build in the engines are taking advantage of those cores, you're going to see that 90% of the games out there just automatically benefit from it.
MacDrude421 says, "Hey Jay, I was planning on sending you a trolling question at the beginning of the stream, but now I fear your head might explode. Here's $5 to buy some Tylenol."
That's good.
You gotta understand, this has been like the week of what should I do questions. Matt Gibbs says 6700K was at 4.0 stock, just FYI. Also, is 650 watt enough for two 1080s? Didn't get that answered in the last one. The 1080s have a 180 watt TDP, I believe. It's 180, either 180 or 190. It's enough if you don't plan on pushing the overclocks too far in either your CPU or your graphics.
And you don't have any spinning disks in your computer.
But you can. Yes, he's absolutely right. With the 4770K and up, they were 4.0 base clocks with 4.2 respectively and 4.4 turbo clocks. So yes, I forgot. They did actually have a 4.0.
Yeah, I thought I remember there being some 4 gigahertz procs in there.
Yeah. Last one. David Clue says, "What are your recommendations for a Z170 motherboard? Budget is up to 250. We'll be using a 6700K. Donated to Jerry. Forgot to type in the message. Ha 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 ha." Dude, honestly, they're all going to be roughly the same. For $250, I mean, EVGA makes great motherboards. The only problem with the Z170 board, they have no USB 2.0 headers. You'll have to use a 3.0 adapter to get 2.0 if you use something like a Hue Plus or a Corsair H100i or whatever. Other than that, they all are going to perform pretty damn close. MSI makes some pretty good Z170 motherboards. You just got to look at the feature sets and see what they have that you might want that's another board doesn't have. In terms of performance for the chip, they're all going to be the same. They use the same chipset. So you just have to look at features on the motherboard and build quality and read reviews. That's the last one.
Awesome. All right. So Matt Davies said one for Jay or Jerry. Whoever has the greater brain cells. I'm going to say Jay right now. I have 3 Acer Predator screens, the 27-inch ones. Any suggestions on how to mount them? It seems that finding a triple monitor mount for 3 27-inch screens is near impossible. I'm guessing the ultra wides, right?
No, 27 inches is a 16 by 9. The ultra wide's 34 and 28. Or 20,
oh, they never did a while. You're right. Actually, 27 would be small.
So, okay. So I use the Ergotech monitor stand, the widescreen gaming forum edition. I've done 2 videos now utilizing that. It will hold 3 27-inch monitors, although it's $450-ish. It's not cheap.
Check Monoprice. I looked on Monoprice. Like, I mean, they got some actually good stands.
Okay, so I've got multiple Monoprice monitor stands as well as some Rosewell stuff.
Yep.
The build quality on the Ergotech is unmatchable.
Well, for the money, though. I mean, that's some
But if you're going to spend 3 27-inch panels on Predators, you just spend a pretty coin on monitors.
No, you're right. It doesn't make sense to spend that kind of money on monitors.
If you're going to take the base off, if you're going to take the base off and you're going to hang them, you don't want it to come slamming down, right?
That's true.
I broke a power button on a monitor once because the monitor stand gave way and it slammed down on the button.
So
I couldn't turn the monitor on and off.
Jay has the superior brain cells right now. Pavlakos. That's an awesome name. Jerry, I donated twice to Jay, but he poop, I guess. It's Solvap, by the way. Oh, okay, this is his name on mine. Anyways, what I said, I called the Microsoft scammer and got him to open a 10 zettabyte file compressed to 500 megs and crash this system. Kiss!
Nice. That's a massive compression. Holy shit.
Dude, that is awesome. Let's see, Conrad.
That's funny because it completely filled up his entire system, or the cache file couldn't even grow, huh?
You know what? I normally wouldn't do this, but Conrad Zacher donated 5 cents and said, you probably won't see this, but if you do, look for something that's 5 cents on Amazon and tell Jay to send me his Titan X's.
Oh, my old Titan X's? No. Yeah. I don't want to.
Last comment, Drew Cook said, here you go, you beautiful bastard. I'm guessing he's a Philip DeFranco fan.
He's talking to me.
Yeah, so that's all of them. We did it. I think we came. Look at that, 629, Jay. Boom! We're good.
Yeah. All right, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and roll that outro. Hit it.
Roll it. Thank you for watching Tech Talk 122 and donating to Jay and me so that we can afford to buy food, even though I don't eat that much food anymore because I'm kind of on a diet lifestyle change thing I'll talk about later on. See ya.
Again. I love you. I love you, Jerry. I love you, Jerry. And this is the best episode in history because Jerry fell down and ate shit. Bye.
Let's take Secure Boot. Oh, let's talk about Secure Boot for a while, Jay.
Bye.